over the summer, an effort by parents to allow their children to opt out of a Montgomery County public school system curriculum featuring LGBTQ plus books culminated in a decision by the U.S. District Court for Maryland rejecting their petition for a preliminary injunction. Laurie, District Court Judge Deborah Boardman concluded that a parent's right to opt out of a public school curriculum that conflicts with their religious views is not a fundamental right. But is this going to be the end of it?
No, I think it's just the beginning. The full case has not yet been heard, and I'm hearing that the parents will appeal. So I think, the issue is these are the people who are for the LGBTQ curriculum. They're for it because they want to teach tolerance. But the parents, they're suing because they think that MCPS is breaking the law because the LGBTQ curriculum is teaching sex education, which allows an opt-out policy, which allows them to opt out of the curriculum for their child. So can parents prove? I don't know if will they be able to prove that children can essentially be harmed by this curriculum? And it'll be interesting to see how it turns out.
Mike, this effort has been going on since last February. And it's an interesting mix of people who are objecting to this. There's a diverse group of religions, Muslims, Christians, and Latter-day Saints that are part of the fight for the right to opt out of the curriculum. According to one mother who would only describe herself as an Ethiopian Christian, she called the school's actions a state-sponsored campaign to shame her into a corner. They're just trying to replace our values, and they're not just pushing to read books, but to create an army of our kids. It's a religion for them. I feel as a Christian, my kids are getting rebaptized in another religion. We've had a long history. Our country was founded on a long history of religious freedom. Shouldn't their views be respected?
I think their views are respected. I appreciate the emotion that the woman you just read through spoke of. But I think that there are lots of things that happen in the world that we see that we like and we don't like. I think the challenge for any parent and for any particular religion is to be able to then engage themselves and their children in being able to interpret what that is and how that fits within their value system. It doesn't mean that you don't get to see it, and those things that you don't like or you don't recognize or don't want to see don't happen. They do. And the challenge is how do you then put that in a frame in your world and with your children that they can then understand and appreciate.
Yeah, but I mean, I hear that, but I also understand what the MCPS says that they're teaching tolerance and acceptance in their community. But the argument that the parents are making, just as Laurie indicated, is that what's being taught is not just tolerance; it's teaching sex education at a lower age.
No, I don't agree. They're not teaching sex education. If you looked at what the books were, they're identifying examples of situations where two men may be together, two women may be together, or people are doing things that happen in society. That's a reality. And I think the challenge that you have, and I was looking at one of the quotes that I guess Eric Baxter, Vice President, Senior Counsel to the Beckett Foundation for Religious Liberty, said, "Parents know and love their children best, and that's why all kids deserve to have their parents help them understand issues like gender identity and sexuality." And they do. And as a parent, there were a lot of those things that presented themselves, not at the time I would have necessarily wanted to be able to have that conversation with my child, but the world took place. They saw things that happened. And the reality is that then you as a parent have the opportunity to guide and to teach that individual at that point. That's where I think those pieces come together. I don't necessarily think that you keep people from seeing things. It's how you react to them and teach them about what that means to you.
So, Laurie, in addition to the stated purpose of teaching tolerance, and acceptance, the school administrators cite logistical difficulties for allowing parents to determine which part of the MCPS curriculum is objectionable, and it's going to create chaos. Doesn't the school system have an obligation to all students, not just those that object?
Let's look at the word obligation and what that means in the school system. The federal level, the 14th Amendment says that states that no child can be denied equal access to an education. At the state and local levels, the obligation is to create curriculums for children and decide what should be taught. Well, there is proof, thanks to the CARE organization. They're a Muslim nonprofit group that is involved in suing the school system. They were able to uncover documents that a year ago, principals stated that they were uncomfortable and had concerns about some of the elementary curriculum that was being portrayed, and some of the comments that were suggesting how teachers should be teaching that curriculum. It's very alarming to me when I read those documents. That should be out there for all parents to see what they're recommending teachers say. Such as, I mean, some of the stuff is ridiculous that, oh, maybe, sometimes we guess when babies are born, if they're a boy or a girl, but sometimes they might be wrong. What in the heck is that? That is so wrong. It should not be taught. I don't think it should just be an opt-out policy. There should be no sex stuff taught to any child, hetero or homosexual, in the elementary ages. And I think we can all agree that, and in fact, most voters agree. There was a poll out there, University of Maryland, that said that most voters do not want that type of stuff taught to elementary children.
Well, that kind of dovetails into the final question, Mike, which is the parental rights movement, which has been gaining strength in Virginia and other states around the country. Is that going to be a major issue when we go to the polls in 2024, that parental rights is becoming more and more important, and it's going to have an impact on local races and on national races?
Well, I think there's certainly a number of groups that are going to try and make that be an issue. I'll be curious to see how relevant it becomes in Montgomery County. I think it obviously had a lot to do when some things took place in Virginia. I think, unfortunately, the other former governor in Virginia made some poorly worded comments, which I think fomented the activity there. I'm still kind of curious and waiting for people to explain to me fully what parental rights actually mean. Parents have rights, and parents work every day at raising their children, and some do a good job and some don't. So I'm just intrigued to see this whole parental rights thing. I think is fascinating to watch. And I see the states where it's taking place. I don't think it'll have that much of a role in Montgomery County or Maryland, honestly.
Well, we're going to go to our next topic, but I will tell you, the fact that there's a coalition that is suing the school system over what is being taught there is a remarkable change for Montgomery County, and maybe the endorsement of the Apple ballot won't be as effective during the next election cycle. We got to wait and see.
That would be okay.
We got to wait and see what's going to happen, because it is the beginning of the school year, and this is our school year edition. So I want to change topics slightly.